Man, I just find it crazy that I'm explaining these things. What up, dog? Do you want to speak like a native English speaker and understand everyone, including Americans? Make sure you watch to the end of this video. We are talking about 9 slang that you have to know that you really wish you didn't. 9 slang that I have to teach you that, man, I really wish I didn't have to. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to just hop right into it, starting off with word number 1, which is mog. Now, before I go any further, I want to clarify there are 2 different kinds of slang, okay? There is timeless slang and there's trendy slang. Trendy slang is the kind of slang that just pops up, boom, and it lasts a little while. You should know it because everyone's going to be talking it, everyone's going to be saying it, and you need to understand what they're saying, but then boom, it's gone off the radar just like that. And then you have timeless slang, which is the kind of slang, words like dog, that started as trendy slang, but made it into the books and will be timeless and will be known forever. Now, most all the words that we're going to be talking about are going to be trendy slang, but we will make sure we designate which ones are trendy, which ones are timeless. So anyway, starting off with the word mog. Mog is almost definitely going to be trendy slang. It is a word that recently popped up on the internet, and what mog essentially means is you are showing someone up. So say, for example, that you are in a room with someone and you are like a lot more attractive than them. Someone would say you are like, attractive mogging them. What that means is that you are basically overshadowing that person, So if you, like a common word that people are using that popped up on the internet, no idea how we started this, but frame mog, basically. So if you're like in the frame of like a camera with someone and you're more jacked than them, you're more attractive than them, you're more cool than them, you're frame mogging them, you're overshadowing them. Their presence is overshadowed by how much better you are than them. That's what mogging means. It can be anything. It could be athleticism. It could be, looks, attractiveness, intelligence mogging, athleticism mogging, frame mogging, muscle mogging, just anything. Number 2, we got maxing. Okay, maxing is similar to mogging, except it's not overshadowing someone. It is maxing something. So the similarities here is it evolved from the same internet culture, and it's going super viral right now. Everyone's saying it, and what it essentially is the same thing, but you slap any word in front of it, and it can mean anything. So maxing means you are doing something to the max. You're trying your absolute best ability. You're doing everything to the best of your abilities to be better at something. So for example, if you were saying that you are looks maxing, that's the most common one, whole trend on internet, and the English speaking internet called looks maxing, but it is definitely huge in America and other English speaking cultures, primarily America though. Looks maxing, what that means is just you are working like every day of your life, just constantly trying to improve your attractiveness, your looks. So if you're someone who is extraordinarily obsessed with, anything from plastic surgery to, working out in the gym, and you just care a lot about your appearance and you try everything to make your appearance better, you would be considered you are looks maxing. But once again, you could slap anything in front of maxing to make it just about anything. Looks maxing, you could say health maxing, if you're trying to eat healthy, just about anything. It is a whole community right now. And a bonus word I'm going to say is bone mashing. What that essentially is, you will hear this mostly on the internet. You might hear this sometimes throughout like normal day speech, but mostly on the internet, and it's just a trend of where these people in this looks maxing community will be beating their face with their own fist or a hammer to try and supposedly regrow the bones to make themselves look like they have a sharper jawline. I believe it has no scientific proof from what I've read, but you never know, maybe they're onto something. Who knows? Number 3, chopped. Man, okay, I actually really like this word. I think this word is going to be timeless. So a lot of these, it overwhelms me with some of the cringe and the corniness of having to say it. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, right? And slang is just getting, the newer slang just doesn't fit with me because I'm used to a certain kind of slang. But no, this is definitely slang that's popular now. And to be honest with you, a lot of this I don't know. A lot of people find it to be kind of corny or cringe. A lot of people find it funny. I find it kind of funny, but at the same time, it is a little bit ridiculous. It gets a little bit ridiculous. This one is not one of those, in my opinion. Chopped is a beautiful word. Chopped just means unattractive, but it can also be used in a context of just saying someone is just not it, or like they're mean, they're not cool, they're chopped. That's what that means. So, man, like, if you get a horrible haircut, right, and you not looking your best that day, you could say, man, I look so chopped right now. Chopped just means unattractive, but it's more of a slang, cool way of saying it. Number 4, cope. Cope means that you just have to suck it up. So, for example, if someone was saying, whining about their day, complaining, or, you're just struggling, And, you're basically being like, I don't care. You just be like, cope. You're basically like, suck it up. It's not my problem. I don't care. Kind of a mean phrase to say. And so for a lot of context, if someone's actually struggling, you do not want to say this phrase at all. However, if it's one of those times where it's like someone is generally just complaining about things that they shouldn't be complaining about, like you're at work and they're complaining that they have to do the exact same thing that you're doing with a good attitude, you'd be like, okay, cope, bro. Just cope. I don't want to hear about it. It's not my problem. Suck it up and deal with it. Cope. That's what cope means. Number 5, brain rot. Man, this one's a crazy one. Brain rot is essentially anything that is like super simplistic, trivial, corny, cringe, any trend of that nature that is just meaningless slop, which means like garbage just being put into your brain rot. So for example, internet trends that are just ridiculous, corny little skits made entirely out of AI with literally just a simple prompt and no thought into it, and it has no benefit, no educational benefit, no even hardly any humor benefit. It is just the most garbage, no good, worthless, thing that you, or meme, that is just, the whole point of it is just, it is so garbage that's the only humor, is that it's so garbage. That's brain rot, essentially. Anything that will rot your brain, that is thoughtless, no processing power required, is just the stupidest image possible. An example of that is a while ago, there was a brain rot trend when people would just slap like shoes using AI onto a random fruit, and they would post it on the internet, and for some reason people found that so funny. That's brain rot. Absolute garbage. Has no meaningful benefit whatsoever. It is just meaningless slop that you are just consuming with your brain. That's brain rot. Number 6. Number 6 is NPC behavior, or just being an NPC. What that just means, so NPC comes from the, it means non-playable character. It comes from like video game culture. So what that is a non-playable character is generally, it's not like fancy AI. It's just a character that is, kind of like just a side character in a video game, that's non-playable, and generally they're very simplistic and just bot-like lines, very rigid, boring lines, things that don't sound natural at all, and actions, they just stand there repeating the same line over and over again. So when someone says someone or something is like an NPC, or it's NPC behavior, they mean they just sound like a total bot. Like they just, like, people don't do this. Like, what are you doing? This is just, you seem like you have no personality. You're just behaving like a freaking clone. No personality, no uniqueness, just straight up repeating the same things, saying the same things, just standing there doing nothing, no purpose whatsoever. Number 7, unk. Man, I just find it crazy that I'm explaining these things. Like, I'm sorry, it just is wild to me. Absolutely baffling. What a world we live in, that these are the slang words that I now have to bring up because they've been brought into being. I did not create them. I promise I didn't create them. I'm just cursed to have to explain them. And man, anyways, unk. Unk essentially means someone who is old, and basically, when they say you reached unk status, they mean like you basically grew out of being hip and slingy and just, you're old now, you're not with the times, give it up, unk. Just give it up. You are now, you're just, you're not fitting in with the younger generation or the young adults anymore. You are too old at this point. Unk essentially just means you're old. It's talking about like someone who used to be like slingy or hip, and now they've outgrown it. And a lot of times they'll talk about it in the context of someone who essentially is now trying to still be like young and cool and all, but you're like, nah, bro, you're unk. You're too old for this now. Just give it up. Give it up, man. It is just, it is not you anymore. So someone who essentially is old, but it's used a lot in the context of someone who just can't accept that they're old. Number 8, valid. Valid is not like one of these trendy slang words. Valid is timeless. Valid just means that you're right. You're correct. You made a great point. It's valid. You valid, man. You're on top of it. You're straight. You are perfectly locked in. You are cool. You are great, man. That's what valid means. You are just legitimate. And then, like I said, completely a timeless slang word. You'll hear that for generations from now, most likely. And the last but not least, number 9, is facts. Facts is something you say. So if something's a fact, you mean it's true, right? It's undeniably true. So taking that knowledge, people will say facts after they really, really agree with something. So if I say, someone says the gym is so cool, man. I love the gym. I'd be like, facts, bro, for real. I like completely agree with that. You know, I completely agree with that opinion. So I'm just gonna go facts, dude. It is so cool. It is. I'm gonna 100% agree with you. Facts, man. That's what fat means. I mean, it just means that you're straightforward. You agree with them 100%. It's valid. They're correct. It's facts. Anyways, that is all the slang words that we have for you today. Words that, once again, I wish I didn't have to teach you, but this is the world we live in, and I am cursed to be the one that has no choice but to instill you with this knowledge. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. We love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.